Can we use having without a group by clause? Which operation is performed first, where or having? And which is more efficient in terms of resource utilization and cost? Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Data Decoder. And in this particular video, we are going to discuss the basic difference between where and having. Guys, this is one of the most important question asked in any SQL interview. So just you need to have a thorough understanding how these two terms work together in SQL. So in order to illustrate an example, I have loaded a data set called sales, and there I have four columns where sale ID, product ID, sale amount, and when that sale was made, that is sale date, right? So now, if and before jumping into this, just remember the statement that where and having is used to filter your data. Like whenever you have to alter your number of rows in the table, then these commands are used, right? So let me take an example. I want to filter it for, let's say, where my sale amount is greater than 1,000, right? So I'm just writing this condition where sale amount is greater than 1,000. So now what it will do is it will go and check each and every row of my table. If my value is greater than the sale amount is greater than 1,000, then it will push this result into my final output, right? So I will just show you the result. So all the sale amount which are greater than 1,000 have pushed into the final result set, right? So let's see, if I replace where with having clause, then what will happen? As I said, both of these commands are used to filter your data, right? Okay, now it throws some error that says sale ID must appear in the group by clause, which means whenever you are using having, it has to be clubbed with group by clause, which means after aggregation, only then you can apply having clause to filter your data, right? So let me just show you the table again. Just something like this. So your sale amount has to be grouped at some level, either sale ID level or product ID level. So for sake of convenience, I'm doing it at product ID level. Let's say I want to take a sum of sale amount, and then I have to group it by product ID, right? I am just running this command for now. So see, at a product ID level, I have like sum of sale amount, which I'm calling as total sales, right? And then I'm running it again. Okay, now if I want to filter this final data set with my total sales greater than 1,000, then I have to replace this sale amount with sum of sale amount. I cannot simply use a sale amount, and I cannot use total sales as well, because having will execute first and then select statement will execute next. So let me show you the result. So now only four rows are there. Earlier it was five rows. Yeah. So this row is discarded now. So remember it again. If you want to filter your data before aggregation, then you use a where clause. If you want to do it after aggregation, then you have to use a having clause clubbed with group by, right? So that is the basic difference. So now, in order to understand which operation is performed first, whether it is where or having, so for that I need to include a where clause in this query, where I'm saying sale amount is greater than, let's say, 1,000, and I'm just modifying it to be 2,500, just to understand more clearly. So remember, guys, whenever we have where and having both in the same query, then this where clause will execute first. So what it will do, from the base table, which is this select star from sale. So this was my base query, right? If I execute it, sorry, sales. So if I execute it, so this was my base query. So what this will do, it will first filter my sale amount to be greater than 1,000. So all the records which are greater than 1,000 will be filtered first. Then it was grouped by product ID and taking sum of sale amount. So I'll show you how it will look like. So first of all, this will be executed. So now you have product ID and sale amount. Now what it will do, it will group it by product ID. So after grouping it by product ID, you see 101 and 101, they are repetitive product IDs. So that will be summed up because we have taken sum of sale amount. So the next step will be, it will be grouped it by product ID and sum of sale amount. And then after this having filter will be applied, right? I hope you understand. So let me just write it step by step. So I'm taking product ID here, and then I'm grouping it by product ID. So the after filtering the base table for the sale amount, it will be aggregated again, and my result set would look like this, because we saw that we have duplicate 101. So now it summed up to 3100, and now the final step was a filter of having, which is this. Now this filter will be applied on this. See, only one record which is greater than 2500. So first of all, it will execute your where statement, then it will group it by, and then it will apply the last filter called having, right? So I hope you understood this concept, and let's move on to our final question, which is one of the most important questions when it comes to query optimization. Between where and having, which one is a more optimized approach when it comes to resource utilization or cost, right? So we already saw where is used whenever we have to filter our rows before aggregation. That means it is somewhat the database engine has to perform less task. But when it comes to having, then the database has to compute an aggregate function like sum, count, and the other functions, right? And after that, it will apply this having filter. So it uses an extra step. It uses more resources, right? Because of which it makes a query little slower. Wherever possible, try to use a where clause rather than using a having clause, because ultimately it will make your query a bit slower. And when it comes to query optimization, we try to filter the data set first, and then perform other operations like grouping it or aggregating it, right? So that's the kind of approach that we should follow in whenever it comes to optimizing our query. So I hope you understand this concept, because this is the most important concept asked in any SQL interview, and I hope you understand this concept well. And you'll be able to explain the interviewer about the technicalities between where and having. So if you like it, please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the upcoming videos on SQL. Thank you so much.